Guys, I don't know if you realize this, but the most dangerous thing in the world today is being realistic. Like, being realistic has ruined more dreams than failure ever has. So, today's going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to kind of yap a little bit. I think it's such an important topic to touch on because I get asked so many times, how did I reach the levels that I have? How did I accomplish all these things? And I want to talk about how being delusional is probably one of the most important traits that you can have if you want to succeed, if you want to escape the rat race, and if you want to actually reach limits that for most people just sound insane, to reach capabilities and capacities in life that to most people just sound like a complete joke. So let me just talk about what's happening and how I've structured my life, my thought process, my principles, and my moral compass that have allowed me to attune my life to the one that I've always dreamed of, right? And how you guys can see the exact same success for yourself. So first off, let's start with a reality check. Let's talk about the illusion, right? The matrix. And this is a woohoo word, and I know I'm going to be using the matrix a few times, and I hate the word, but truly it just serves a very good purpose for this video and the topic, because the matrix is really what has us all entrapped, right? In this illusion of safety and security. You wake up, you work, you eat, you sleep, you repeat, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck. Your freedom is sold as security, when in reality, there's really nothing secure about the money that you're making, the job that you have. At any point in time, you can be laid off. You know that with the evolution and revolution of AI, your role and position could be taken away from you under your feet. My mom worked at a college for 18 years, first person in, last person out, and her job was completely dissolved out of thin air because it was no longer important. And so she served a large portion of her life to her employer, and they just left her with a very small severance package and a goodbye. And that's at that point when I actually retired my mom and I removed her from the workforce, and I never allowed her to work for anyone else again. And I've retired her since COVID. And so that's this illusion I want to talk about, this blanket of security that doesn't actually exist, right? Because everyone told me to be realistic, that YouTube automation and all these businesses that I tried in the past, they were just too risky. They were too saturated. They're just unrealistic. Every single person told me this throughout my journey. And I understand. I mean, I tried so many different businesses and I failed so often. Guys, I failed way more than I succeeded. I failed 7 or 8 businesses before my first one actually took off. So yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to succeed, but the trade-off was what? To stay in my secure life, to stay within the rat race, to stay in the matrix, as they so say. And that's when I realized that realism is just socially accepted fear. Because realism is often represented as maturity, wisdom, or intelligence. But most of the time, it's just fear wearing a rational mask. Because when people say be realistic, this is what it actually means. Don't take risks that I'm too afraid to take. Don't dream beyond what I think is safe. And stay within the limits that make me feel comfortable. So society rewards realism because it keeps people compliant, manageable, and predictable. You're being praised for being responsible, essentially, when in reality, you're just too afraid to step outside the norm, right? And that fear has essentially just been rebranded as common sense. So guys, what I'm getting at is there's been a lot of framing that's been instilled in our belief systems in the day-to-day that have caused us to truly believe to our core that what we're doing is the right thing, when in reality, it's really far from what inherently we deserve. To have freedom and control, you know what I mean? But all these things are being masked by doing the right thing, having common sense, following the road that everyone else travels, right? So I want to talk about the power of delusion, because the whole concept and the topic of this video is about being delusional and how it's gotten me where I am. And I want to talk about the power of delusion, guys. I want to define delusion in a brand new light. Because guys, delusion is not ignorance, all right? Delusion is having belief before evidence, right? Truly to your core believing that you already have this, that you deserve it, that it's possible for you before there's tangible evidence that proves it to be so. Because the only way to bend reality is to first reject it, right? If you want to have a different life, if you want your life to be constructed in a completely different way, you have to reject the reality as it currently is. You have to reject the current system, the norms that are placed upon us, right? The belief system that everyone is pushing. Go to school, get a job, wake up 9 to 5, repeat, rinse and repeat, serve your life for somebody else, and that's it. And that's the current reality that everybody is forced to live. And so you cannot have another existence as a reality. You cannot have another reality until you reject the current one. That's where the delusion starts to kick in. You need to be delusional to believe that there's something else possible. And only then it can cease to exist. I had a business at 25 that was making $30,000 a month, which at the time I thought was crazy. And that completely crumbled under my feet during COVID. And by 26, I basically bet everything on this YouTube thing that nobody understood, nobody believed in, but I believed that it would be possible. I believed that this thing could help me escape. Irregardless of the outcome, I believed to my core that this would work. And here we are. And the key point here is that every major shift that happened in my life started with delusion, the delusional thought that this thing can and will work and change my life in the way that I perceive. I have a delusional belief that my life will be full of wealth and abundance. And that's the only existence and reality that I choose to believe to be true to me. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own belief systems. You can believe whatever you want. If Santa Claus is true or aliens are real, whatever it is, but those are belief systems that you believe to your core to be true and are aligned with your principles. And these are mine. Mine are all delusional, right? But to me, they serve me, and they've obviously served me quite well. And so I want to talk about how the system rewards compliance, right? This is the main issue that we're facing. Most people stay stuck because they trade certainty for comfort. They outsource all of their dreams to someday. Someday I'll change. Someday I'll do something. Someday something will change. And guys, the issue is that society praises predictability, not courage, guys. Those who are courageous are frowned upon. They're shunned. They're taunted. They're bullied because they're the people that are striving to take the chance to be different. And this whole crab in the bucket mentality, if you don't know what crab in the bucket mentality is, there's a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and as soon as one tries to escape, all the crabs pull them down. And that's how society acts. Unfortunately, that's how everybody is. And so society praises predictability in those who stay in their comfort zone, not those who are courageous to step out and to do something better. So going back to the Matrix thing, society is designed to keep us rational, comfortable, and afraid of risk, because those who question it don't align with the goals, right? The goals of the master plan, right? Those who don't serve it. And so we need to be a little bit irrational. We need to be a little bit delusional, because if we don't, we fall straight into the trap that 99% of the people have fallen into. And maybe you've fallen into it yourself. And so the thing is, I just want to take a step back further, because now my delusion may make me sound like I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy, because there's a strong differentiation between delusion and vision. I want to just quickly tie the knot here, because they are very different things. And I want to really help you understand what I mean when I say I'm delusional. There's a difference between having blind faith and calculated delusion. See, for me, I wasn't just hoping that one day this thing would work, not just sitting there and praying and hoping. No, I was obsessed. I was disciplined, and I was willing to outlast everybody who disproved what I did, didn't believe me, and laughed. I was willing to outlast all those people, outlast and outwork, right? Because here, I'm going to put it straightforward, right? Delusion without the work is just fantasy. It's just living in a fantasy world. But delusion with execution is where you have vision. And that's the difference between delusion and vision, is delusion with execution, right? Being delusional in your thought process while executing with certainty is how you have the vision to change and shape your life. So what does delusion actually look like? Let's say you attempt this now. You attempt to just embark on this delusional route, the one that I've gone on and many others have gone on and have now changed their lives. What does it actually look like? Well, guys, it's going to be full of loneliness, right? Loneliness where nobody around you really believes in you, right? Maybe you're lucky enough to have friends or family that truly believe in you and they support you, but most people won't. I didn't, right? You're going to have doubt when results don't come fast. This is a harsh reality as well. I failed 7 businesses before my first one took off. Can you imagine the amount of discomfort that I faced with everybody telling me to stop and quit and just suck it up? Because that's not going to be my reality. I'm not going to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to be self-employed. I'm not going to be able to have freedom. I'm going to have to stick to my job. How do you think I felt and what I faced and the kind of emotional turmoil that I had to go through? There was a lot of doubt. I doubted myself. I doubted everything I did. But at the end of the day, I chose to believe to be delusional because I couldn't accept any other reality. You're also going to face a lot of isolation from your normal friends, the people that you traditionally did the traditional things with, right? The people that were with you when you're kind of gaming or going out drinking or whatever. Normal friends. I'm not saying everyone has those friends that are doing that. I'm just saying the people that you do normal things with. Those people might and probably will start doubting you. They'll probably start disconnecting from you, right? Just giving you guys a fair understanding of what to almost expect. I disconnected from every single one of my friends. I don't have a single friend from my normal days that I have now. I have new friends with new belief systems and new moral compasses because they serve me correct. All right. And you're probably going to have to lose some of them along the way. Then comes the payoff, right? Then one day, everything will flip. And for me, everything flipped, right? You go from crazy, from being absolutely crazy and delusional and whatever names they want to call you, to a genius overnight. And then the same people that doubted you and laughed at you and bullied you are the people that now ask how you did it and how they can do it too. So why are we all doing this? Like, what's the whole point of this? Well, it's pretty obvious. The goal is freedom. You instill delusion as a belief system to acquire freedom. So what is freedom, guys? Freedom isn't just a yacht or a penthouse. I mean, it's pretty fucking cool. That stuff is great, but the point is waking up and having a choice. Waking up and having the ability to buy something without looking at the price tag. It's having your time back, owning your time. I don't need to be a billionaire. I actually don't strive at all to be a billionaire. I just strive to have complete control over my life, my time, and just the ability to live life on my own terms. Delusion isn't about money. It's about having complete sovereignty, which is supreme power and authority over my own life. That's what I strive for. These are my goals. That is my North Star. And that's what's led me to make the decisions and build the businesses and do all these sacrifices to acquire this one thing. And as a byproduct, I'm able to buy really nice things and live in a penthouse. That's fantastic. But again, the goal, the North Star, is power, control over my life, the freedom and control over my own life, which then as a byproduct allows me to have all these other things, which are great. So guys, I'll leave you with some final thoughts here, right? The people who call you delusional are typically the ones who settle, just so you understand that. When everyone is pushing and shoving down your throat the narrative that you are crazy, it just means that those people are those people who settled, who chose comfort and security as a life choice when you try to strive for the opposite, which is true control and true freedom and true security by doing things on your own terms, not depending on other people for your paycheck, not allowing other people to determine the safety and financial trajectory of your family, of your spouse. And let me remind you here, guys, all of delusion is only delusion until it works. Once it works, it's no longer delusional. It's an accomplishment. It's a reward, right? You're only delusional until it works. No one's going to sit here and call me delusional because I get to live in an amazing place and have an amazing life and have all these things. I'm not delusional. I'm successful. I'm a genius overnight, right? But it's not like that. It was not like that at all. And I still am completely delusional to this day. Another thing I want you to understand is that the matrix doesn't break when you make money. It breaks when you believe that it can. So let me paraphrase that a little bit more. It's not like once you start making money, all of a sudden the matrix is gone and now you're free. It happens far before that. It happens once you have a complete shift in your identity, in your belief system, that this life can exist, that it is possible for this life to exist, that you don't have to conform to the norm, to the rat race, to all the 9 to 5 and everything that's been shoved down our throat with the education system and all these different things. When you truly to your core believe that this doesn't have to be a reality, that's when the matrix breaks. It doesn't have to break only when you make money. The matrix doesn't break only when you're successful. It breaks before that. It breaks on a fundamental mental level, on a soul level, and then on a physical level. On the soul plane before the material plane. And guys, just to close this off on like an emotional note, every version of me that changed my life started as a delusional thought. I would rather be insane and free than sane and stuck. Once again, I would rather be insane and free than sane and stuck. Guys, the choice is yours. I don't know who this video is for, and even if this helps one person, I'm so grateful. I just wanted to go in a bit of a yapping video and just rant, because again, I get asked so often, like, what did I have to do and change in my life, and what kind of new mental thought processes that I have to adopt to become, XYZ. This is kind of it. I just had to turn myself into a crazy person. I mean, inherently, I am kind of a crazy person, but this is who I had to become for my life to exist the way that it does. And if you would like the same, then maybe take some advice from this video. And if you think I'm crazy and you don't understand or align with my philosophies, that's perfectly fine. This is just my opinion and it's served me well. It doesn't have to be your opinion. We don't have to agree on anything here, but just wanted to share because number one, that's what the internet's about. And number two, I just like to share wisdom where I feel I can actually impact people. So if you enjoyed this video, I have many other yapping videos, many other educational videos on how to build a business online using what I do personally is YouTube automation. And if you want to learn more about it, you can subscribe to my channel. I also have a free school community in the description. You guys can join that one and learn and follow with almost like 9,000 other people who are doing the same thing. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.